Fashion Dolls, it is finally Friday, March 7th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. We finally made it through this crazy week, and there's so much more craziness going on in the world. But today's special guest, Fashion Dolls, is a writer, musician, director, motivator, just like my guest I had on yesterday, Lawrence Sturdivant, who I've had on. Oh my God. He is also a Renaissance man, and I'm super excited to welcome him here in the dollhouse today. Please welcome to Morris Ellis to the dollhouse, Fashion Dolls. Let me go on ahead and send this on out to him so that I can get him in here. Oh, and he's here. So without further ado, Fashion Dolls, please welcome to the dollhouse to Morris Ellis.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing wonderful. How are you? Welcome to the
Good.
dollhouse.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
Such a pleasure to have you here. So, before we kick off this interview, how has 2025 been for you so far?
Oh man, 2025 has been a bit of a roller coaster, but in a good way. I feel like for so many of us, the year 2025 has kind of been a healing year. I would say that for me, it's definitely been a year of healing and really having a chance to really learn who I am. And that's because of some of the things that I've gone through, in 2024. So it's been a good year, man. It's very, very hopeful because you can't progress until you really start working through some of those things that you need to get off of your chest, your mind, and your heart. So good year, good year.
Yes, yes. And it's been an amazing year for you. Sympathy for the Narcissist.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank
Your
you.
project is fire. Everybody is talking about it. I watched the project and I took something away from it, which we'll talk about in this interview. But before we get to the film, I want to start from the beginning. Who is Tamoris Ellis? Where he grew up? How many siblings? And at what age did he develop? Because you are a man, just like my guest I had on yesterday,
Mhm.
Lawrence Sturdivant. You wear many hats as well too. You write, you direct, you do music as well as he. So, at what age did you discover the passion for music, the sound of music, the sound for the passion for acting,
Mhm.
and where you grew up? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so born and raised in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, a little outside of Charlotte. Yeah, Winston.
Yes, I
Yeah,
have
so
family in North Carolina. My cousin is there. So,
okay,
and I have a
great.
brother there too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's a beautiful city. Winston-Salem is really small. It's a little outside of Charlotte for those who don't know. Born and raised there. There's not a lot to do in Winston, North Carolina, so you do art. You do art. You do things like that because we didn't have a lot to do. So I started playing piano probably at about 14 years old. My grandmother, who I was raised by, bought me my first Casio piano, and I started learning chords, taught myself how to play. And if you know anything about Winston-Salem, North Carolina, there's a church on every corner here. So
Yes.
that's how I kind of cut my teeth playing in churches and just learning. And if you know about playing in the black church, you don't know how to read no music. Our parents ain't had no money for that. So you go there and you develop an ear for it. People start singing and you just got to figure out what they're singing, no matter how bad they sound or whatever. So that's kind of how that started. Acting came a little bit later when a friend of mine wanted me to come to an audition with them, and I was like, man, I don't act. I don't want to do. They were like, come to this audition, take these classes, I'll pay for it. When it took the classes and just caught the bug from there, man, and been doing that ever since. Yeah,
And look at you now. Sympathy for the
yeah,
Narcissist, which is a project which is your first feature length film. You
yes,
funded it, you wrote it, everything.
yeah,
Tell us about the process of creating such a powerful film. Because from what I took away from this, is like you're looking in the mirror, and of
yeah.
course you see yourself,
Hmm.
but it's not always everything that it appears to be. I wasn't expecting that plot twist at the end, but it follows the life of this woman, Erica, played by
Yes,
Natasha, and then Emmanuel, who's slated to come on my show in June. He will be on the show in June.
nice.
So this is a place of passion. This character right here, Erica, is just looking for love. She's looking for a place, as is anybody,
Yep.
any man, any woman, anybody who's looking to be loved.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how do I go back? And she jumps back in the dating scene.
Yeah.
So, what was it like writing such a powerful film? And did you have any idea, writing this masterpiece, putting the scripts together and everything, that it would be such a conversation starter? Because these are actually things that happen in real life as it
Yeah.
pertains to dating, as it pertains to love and romance and intimacy, all of those things.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for your kind words. I appreciate you checking it out. And for what you took from it as well is amazing, because I've never heard nobody say it the way that you just said it. So that's pretty dope. Sympathy for the Narcissist definitely is about something we've all gone through. We've all encountered narcissism in our life, whether you think you have or not. You've encountered a narcissist before. And so what happened with Nikisha in this situation, who plays Erica, is she is trying to figure out her life after being hurt. And that's a lot of times what happens with us. We serial date sometimes because we've gone through painful things. And when you've gone through heartbreak, it is very difficult to see clearly when you're getting ready to try to be involved with somebody else. Very, very difficult. And most of the time we make the wrong mistake of dating too early without healing our hearts. So that's part of what, yeah, right?
I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it.
Aren't we all? Yeah. So it's, I kind of want to show that sometimes, and you can make that mistake of going out too early and end up with somebody who's going to drastically change your life, like in this movie. A lot of us have been lucky that we probably got into situations with people and were able to get out of it. But um I really wanted people to look into um just healing a little bit more before we go out, because there's always red flags, and the red flags are screaming. We think the red flags are something small when it comes to dating. They are loud. The only thing is, when you're with the rose colored glasses on because you just want to be loved, you want to be in a situation, you do not see the red flags as easily. So that's part of what I wanted to give in this. Writing it, putting it together was terrifying. Terrifying. So anybody who knows about doing a movie, it takes money. It takes a lot of money, even to do something on a low budget scale. And it was terrifying, but there was this voice inside of me said I had to get it done, and it scared me. It scared me. And so I just went out there and did it. And the thing about that, what I want to give to your viewers is, when you just step out and do it, the path
Mhm.
begins to be shown to you. You don't know it at the beginning. You have no idea how you're going to make this work. But when you take that first step, I'm telling you, things just, when I tell you we were getting locations for free, when I tell you things are just happening almost supernatural, I wish Emmanuel and all of them were here. They could tell you just how things would just open up for us. And I believe that's what happens when you just take that step. That's all you got to do. Just take the first step and things will open up. And I had no idea that it would spark so much conversation, that it would do the numbers that it's done on Amazon, on Tubi. I've been blown away. I teared up when I got the first reports from Amazon. I was like, man, people are watching something that I created. And that's all about just taking that first step.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes that first step can be scary. And not only that, about, having those rose-colored glasses,
Yeah.
but Emmanuel's character in the film comes from trauma. So
Yes.
it comes from trauma, and that cycle, it
You're
shows you
good.
the cycle. Because in the film, his character was
Yeah.
abusive. And it's just like, okay, you're looking for love, you're blinded by love, and you're just like, oh, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm still. And she went and she looked for him,
Yeah.
Erica. In the film, she went to go look for him,
Yeah.
and she found. I can't give the whole film away, you guys. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it for yourself. And Nikita Sheeran says, "Hey, twin."
Hey, what's up, twin? How you doing? That's my buddy.
Yes. Oh my goodness. But that's what I took away from this film. In any relationship, you're coming with some sort of baggage.
Yeah.
And that trauma, you don't know what the person has been through
Absolutely.
for them to make them that way, to make Emmanuel's character in the film that way.
Yeah.
But Nakisha's character, Erica, in the end, like I said, the plot twist, what you're looking in that mirror and you're seeing your reflection is not always what it appears to be. So
Point. Yeah.
something from the outside looking in, and you will see that us, the viewers, we seen it, we foreshadowed it, because you're
Yes.
also in the film as well too. You're one of the guys in the coffee shop, which is where one of the locales in the film. But this film is
Thank
powerful and it
you.
has meaning because there are a lot of people who deal with this. And we all have to check our narcissism or put it in check
$100%.
in some point in time.
Yep.
If that makes sense, we've always had to check ourselves. Like you're in a relationship, it's not just about you, but it's about us together.
Exactly.
So we have to make this work. But great film overall. I would definitely recommend it again. And you did this for little or nothing. And you took that leap of faith, as you said. And sometimes taking a leap of faith can be scary.
Very.
And I know for me with this platform here, I started right after high school. I didn't know what I was doing.
Wow.
2016, after I graduated, and I came in and it was weekdays topics. And at the time, I had like one of those little tripod things,
Hmm.
little iPad, and I had to call my guests on Messenger and get them to pop up on
Oh
video
wow.
that way. But complete different thing from then to
Oh
now.
yeah.
So you have to start
Absolutely.
somewhere. And that's what I take away from this project. Outstanding
Thank
job,
you.
Morris. Yes,
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
yes. So my next question for you is, who's the biggest influence in your life?
I gotta say my grandmother. My grandmother, who passed about 2 years ago from
I'm
cancer.
sorry.
It's all good. She's been my greatest influence. My grandmother took me in. My grandmother raised me from the time I was 8 years old. Didn't have my mother and my father in my life, so I grew up with that strength of that black grandmother. We all know about our grandmas, and the reason I say black grandmother is because she came up during a time where they had to be strong. She dealt with racism and things, especially here in North Carolina. She tells me plenty of stories. She taught me about going to McDonald's and waiting for an hour and not being served, and then the manager coming out and telling her and my aunt, we don't serve N words here. So she's dealt with all of that from being a woman and a black woman. So I get a lot of my strength, my spiritual strength, from my grandmother. Definitely my greatest inspiration, because she took me in when nobody else could. So you even anything that I do musically, anything that I do in film, Carrie Ellis, my grandmother, is definitely in that stuff. Definitely where the wisdom comes from in my life. Yeah, greatest influence.
And that brings me to the next portion of our conversation. You mentioned Black women and our strength, and your grandmother and how important to you she was. For my ladies viewing, March is Women's History Month, celebrating us and our accomplishments to the world and our contributions. Uh, I want to more here because my lineup the rest of this week is all men. I wanted it to be all women, but fellas, y'all gonna have to dig in y'all wallets and give us something encouraging,
Yeah.
empower us. So, to Morris, what are 5 things that make women unforgettable in your eyes?
So I'm actually going to give you this one because I think this one is so powerful that anything else I would say would just not do it justice. Look at the fact that life, God, whatever you want to believe in, not here to discuss religion,
Mm,
shows the feminine energy to carry and to nurture life on this planet. Think about how powerful that is. We weren't given that task. It was the female, the energy there, that was given the task to protect, to nurture, to take care of life. There's nothing more precious on this planet, right? So when you think about the feminine energy and the love that we as men have to start to give more of that to, is the love of God, the love of creation, because it shows that, right? Without that, without you ladies, without that feminine energy that we have, we wouldn't be nurtured the way we are. It is amazing. And I think history has done such a disservice to women, because it has made women to feel like they were lower than men, right? But honestly, it's the feminine energy that's more powerful, because it's the feminine energy that is openness. It is the feminine energy that is creative energy. It is that energy that we all um, are here for. The reason we are here. So I want to give that to all the ladies that are watching, that feminine energy, that, much love, because if it wasn't for God choosing you to nurture us, there would be no men, there would be no nothing, there would be nothing. That nature, that's why we call it Mother Nature. The earth, we call it Mother Earth. It's all feminine energy, and that's where we get life from. So shout out to all the ladies. Nikki, I see you there. Shout out to all the ladies out there.
yes. Yes, yes. And I'm going to second that because you mentioned your grandmother. I just saw my grandmother a few minutes ago. She's
Wow.
80 years old.
Oh wow.
And I'm so blessed and thankful to have her here, still encouraging me, still giving me
Yeah.
wisdom along the way as well too. And my mother, I had to check. I want to live. I don't want to say. I, Black ladies, I don't ever ask my mother her age. So we're gonna say she's in her
There you go.
20s. So I'm blessed
Smart.
to have her here as well too. And I'm thankful just to have her encourage me along the way. My mom is, and I said this yesterday with Lawrence. I said a woman can have diamonds. We love diamonds. I'm a fashion girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But the most precious diamonds to me is my mother and my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And they're black diamonds. The black
Mm-hmm.
diamonds are the toughest to cut. Whereas
Wow.
any other diamond, you can cut them.
Wow.
They're unbreakable. A mother's bond with her child is unbreakable.
Mm-hmm.
And I have four brothers and two sisters. So out of each and every one of us, we have our own personality. My mother has taught us to be independent.
Good.
She's taught us to be vocal, to stand up for what is right, and more importantly, to make it on our own.
Right.
That's something that she wanted to do because sometimes when it's time for God to call you home, it's time for God to call you home. I've lost another grandmother as well too. That would be my father's
Mm-hmm.
mother, and she
Mm-hmm.
passed away in '96. And she's
Sorry.
also been a big pivotal impact in my life as well too. So I'm so thankful to
Yeah.
have these women in my life. I'm surrounded by other strong women, and I think that's where I get it from. Mainly my
Yeah.
mother, because she's a Libra, I'm a Scorpio.
I'm a Libra.
So we balance, yes, we balance each other
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
And sometimes she's so stubborn. My mom is so stubborn. It's like, okay, woman, what are you doing? So it's different because you're growing up, you're the child, but you're giving them advice, giving you advice as
Facts.
well too. And then she said something one day in the living room that stood out to me, to Morris, and my mother said, "I got your back." So
Mm.
that is solidified right there in ink
Yeah.
when a mother
Absolutely.
solidifies to her child that I am going to protect you. So
Absolutely.
it's all about women, us being the nurturers. And I think I get that nurturing, protective mother bear spirit from my mother.
Nice. That's beautiful. Shout out to your mom.
So I'm thankful for
Yeah.
her. I'm thankful for her. So the, speaking of getting it from someone, what is your most treasured memory in life, in your career, your most treasured memory?
Wow, that is a big one. Um, I mean, there's been so many. I would say something that you probably wouldn't expect me to say, and I won't give one particular example, but for a person like me, it's the things that I've gone through that are treasures. The stuff that I didn't want to go through, the heartbreaks that I've faced in my life, that's treasures. So I was planted this church, and this church mother said to me, she said, I was leaving out. She said, remember this one thing, always look in the past. That's where your strength is. And
Mm,
took me a long time to get that. And I finally got it when you look at all of the stuff that all of us have gone through in life. So all of us have gone through a lot of stuff. And you look at the fact that you're still here, that you're still, not to get churchy, but you're still in your right mind. You're still able to produce and do the things you do. You gotta look back at those moments and say, man, somebody went through something less than I did and they didn't make it, or they're not in the same position I'm at. So my treasured moments are looking back at all of those times of stuff that should have really just made me not being able to stand here and talk to you. I grew up in the hood. A lot of my friends got locked up. A couple of them are dead, and I say I grew up in an environment, but I'm not a product of that environment. So those are my most treasured moments, just looking at all of it. And it helps you as you go through life, and you go, because we're all going to continue to go through things, right? I don't care how much money you get, whatever you're gonna. That's rich people problems. They still have problems. We like to have those problems, but it's, if you can do that, it helps you appreciate the things that you're going through currently, knowing that you got the strength, the fortitude, and everything, and the ancestors and everything to help pull you through it. So those are my most treasured moments, believe it or not.
absolutely. And I love what you just said, which is going through the things you don't really want to go through and
Mm-hmm.
having those problems is key and critical. And that ties into the next question that I wanted to ask you as well too. Do you embrace change or fight it?
I think a little bit of both. You know, we're creatures of habit, so we like to know. It's almost like this. You know, you get a friend that invites you to the party, and most of us will say, "Well, who gonna be there?" You know,
Right.
because you all know who gonna be there, what they serve, and all these kind of things, because you feel more secure with what you know. And what I'm learning, I've read this book probably 3, 4 times now. It's a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and it talks about being present in the moment. There is no such thing as, you know what I'm talking about? Uh oh.
I'm going to quote her. Jackie from 227 was saying something when she was sitting in the dressing
Mm-hmm.
room. And she said, before I get into character, I like to sit in my chair
Yeah.
and I like to look in the mirror and I like to be
Yeah.
still and present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that has stuck with me ever since then.
Mm-hmm.
So you're onto something. That's why my light bulb went off when you said that, because I tell people that all the
Yeah.
time. You have to be still and in the moment. Before every interview, I pray and I talk to God. Every morning I get up, I have a conversation with God, and
Mm-hmm.
I do my morning affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
One of my affirmations that I say, I am courageous and I stand up for
Nice.
myself and others.
Beautiful.
So you have to keep saying these things back over and over to yourself
Yeah.
again. But that is key to being present and being in the moment and
Yeah.
stillness. So
Yep.
you were saying, go ahead. I'm
Oh no
sorry for
no
cutting you off, but I
no
had to.
no no. I like those moments. that that's reminds me of a quote George Washington Carver said. He said he wakes up
Mhm.
every morning 3 o'clock in the morning and he got still, and to see what God wanted him to do for the day. And we know how much he was able to do in his life. So being present is teaching me to not go by my will, right? Because we all have an idea of what we want our lives to be. We all have an idea of what we want the next hour to be. But it's being still and letting go to something greater than yourself, and trusting that present moment, that it's going to reveal the next moment. And in that next moment, I'm going to be okay. And in the next moment, I'm going to be okay. I don't have to know what it's going to bring into my life. So I've gotten to the place now where I do embrace change. It's still hard, very, very hard. But it's like, if we're getting ready to go on a trip right now and you have GPS and I don't, and I can only see as far as my eyes gonna let me see. But you've got a GPS. You're sitting up higher than me. So it's trusting God. It's trusting that sits higher than you to see the next step. And the only way you can truly do that is by being present and embracing change in whatever form it comes. Be terrified, but be okay with things changing and not happening in the way that you predicted or wanted it to happen. Because a lot of times it's gonna work out better for you than you could have ever imagined
Mm.
if you let it. I'm talking to
And
myself too.
there's more.
If we let it.
Change
Yeah.
can be scary for a lot of us when you're going through that transformation period of
Mm-hmm.
just any aspect of your life, adjusting. We're
Yeah.
so used to the norm and seeing things and doing things and accustomed to things
Right.
normally. But that world shift, and I can even take you back to the pandemic 2021, how
Mm.
we were doing things, how we were going to concerts, we were doing
Right.
all of these things.
Right.
Then it was just like we had to kind of slow down and put a pause
Yeah.
on things. But I can also say that it has brought us together
Mm-hmm.
in different ways more than
Mm-hmm.
ever. Like I got introduced to my cousin. This was way before the pandemic even happened. And it was a family because we used to cook out in the country. And she came down from New York and she walked in like she was Beyonce or somebody, and it was like, Sherry. Shout outs to my cousin Sherry.
What else, Sherry?
And I was like, I got introduced to her. And then afterwards, we exchanged numbers
Mm-hmm.
and we found out that we had something in common. We love to shop. So me and her would always tag team and go shopping together. And that was our thing. We did it once, and then me and the family got
Mm-hmm.
together and we went shopping together as well with her. So it was fun. But I got introduced to my cousin, and we had a whole messenger chat where the family, my entire family, could keep in touch with one another. But I
Nice.
can say it's about adjusting. The
Yeah.
things that we used to do in 2021 when everything was divided, when we had the social distance, all of that,
Yeah.
now we see that normalcy. It feels so much better to be able to go out and communicate with your family,
Yeah.
just pop up and visit
Yep.
them, all of these things.
Yep.
But that's all I have to say. Sometimes adjusting can be amazing. It can be
Absolutely.
amazing in the end result. Make it work.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, speaking of adjusting, you are a man who wears so many hats. My next question for you is, how do you practice self care?
Woo! That's what I'm working on. If I'm being honest with you, I have not mastered that at all. I again, I told you we started off talking about how's 2025 been. I said it's been a healing year for me. It's been a year of me becoming more confident as a man and knowing who I am. Um, so my self care is just starting. You know, I'm still working on it. If I'm being honest with you, I'm just now starting to go out to eat by myself, which was terrifying because I never liked to eat by myself. I thought about going out to eat as a time to have conversations with people, but I'm starting to go out to eat by myself, go to the movies by myself, go to concerts by myself. It's all things that are very, very uncomfortable to me. But what it's teaching me is self love. If you can't
Yes.
date yourself, if you as crazy as that may sound, if you can't take yourself out to eat, if you can't love on yourself by going to a concert and taking yourself places, even when nobody else wants to go to you, you can't give that love to anybody else. So I would say that's how it's starting for me. I'm nowhere close to being where I want to be on that, but those are my baby steps right now to self care.
And you know what? I have a girlfriend out there, Hope Ellis, who's also in the North Carolina area. And
Hey,
she
family.
when she came on the show and we had our girl talk together,
Hmm.
and she was saying, "You're gonna be my accountability," because she's a single mom. I
Hmm.
was telling her, I said, "Girl, you got to take yourself on a trip, get you some girls, go out," because
Yep.
I'm very are you that was going to be my next question for you before I get to Hope, talking about Hope and what I told her. Are you introverted or extroverted?
I think what's the one that's in between? I can't introvert or extrovert or something like that. I'm a little bit of both. I'm a little bit of both. I can move in any circle. I grew up in the hood, so I can move in that circle. I can move in a circle with people who are business minded. So I'm a little bit of both. Yeah, that's the Libra in me. We're balanced.
Yes, and rightfully so. I was telling her this. I said, "Girl, you're a single mom. Get you some girls and go out. Take your mom." She said, "I got the boys," because she has boys. I said,
Mm,
"Let those boys go on over there and do some work. They'll be okay." I think she said one of them was going off to college when she was here. I said, "Take you, do what Taraji P Henson," and I love Taraji P Henson.
hmm.
She took herself on like this eat, pray, love journey where she went out of the country by herself,
Yeah,
because typically you would see her with some girls, other actresses,
yeah,
and things like that. But sometimes you just have to take that moment for
yeah,
yourself. And it's imperative, especially in these times with everything, all of the craziness going on.
yeah,
Make sure that you are taking care of yourself and pouring into yourself,
yeah.
because you can't pour from an
A
empty
hundred
cup. I do this
percent.
platform 5 days a week, every day, Monday
Nice,
through Friday. And I'm consistent with it.
nice.
No sick days. And I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for it. But
That's awesome.
I still have to take time and pour into
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Like when I'm not doing this, I'm not live. I am cooking. I am taking care of my mother, making sure that she has everything that she needs. I
Hmm.
am making sure that my family is good. My grandmother. I have a fur baby now,
Nice.
a 5-month-old toy poodle.
Oh no.
So I have to make sure that she's fed and taken care of. And I call her chunky butt. She done got so much. She done got so big. She's always eating. But take time for
Yeah,
yourself, regroup, and come back rejuvenated.
100%.
And you guys see the end result of it. I feel good, I look
Good.
good, and it's because I take care of my mind, my body, and my
That's
soul.
beautiful.
And you have to, because we want to be around to live a long time, right?
Yeah,
Healthy. If you don't take care of yourself, it will wear you
yeah,
out. So it's imperative that we take self care. And this is to my viewers, to my Black viewers out of my Black audience, my brothers and sisters in the Black community. It's imperative that we take care of our
yeah,
self, our mental health, our well
yeah,
being, because if not, there won't be any more of you. And we see diabetes, high blood sugar, cholesterol, all of these things that impact us. It's
yeah.
imperative that we do that. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I second that. Yeah.
absolutely. So, my next question for you is, what is your definition of beauty? Because in all of the chaos, we have to find beauty, we have to find joy.
Hmm.
So, what is your definition of beauty?
Um, Beauty to me is the soul. right? So it's the soul of a person. And why that's beautiful is most people don't even know who they really are at the soul level. We're all still learning that, right? But if you were to strip off all of the stuff that we've been taught since kindergarten up to whatever age you're right now, you would find the real you. And that's the beauty. So when we see people who we tend to say, wow, there's just something beautiful about this person. What we're really seeing is their soul, because souls recognize soul. So anybody that I see that's walking in who they are, as loud, as silly as they are, or as quiet and meek as they are, as long as they're walking in who they are, not what we've been conditioned to be, that is beautiful because that's real. So I guess if I could use one word, I would say real. Realness is beautiful to me in a world that is fake. We live in a very, very fake constructed world. So anytime you see anyone that's being real, it's beautiful. Yeah,
And authenticity. And I'm going to
that's it.
circle back to your film, Sympathy for the Narcissist. That was something that Erica struggled with, even being in a relationship with Emmanuel's
Yeah.
character, finding the beauty of herself within. And that was something you told her because
Hmm.
it was one scene where you took her out. I think your character took her out to the carnival or something of the sort. And it's just like what I think you was asking
So
her, why are you
let me
still
say
with
this
this
real
guy?
quick. A lot of people think that's me. That's actually a guy named Chris Sean. Yeah, they get us so confused. I guess we look alike. I don't know, but that's actually Chris Sean. Yeah, I just directed everything. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh
You're
my
right.
goodness. But
You're not the only one that's
But the
done it.
point I
No,
was
you're
trying to
fine.
make, yes, the point I was trying to make though was this guy, Chris was trying to get her to see the beauty of herself.
Yeah,
And sometimes coming from a traumatic experience, that can be difficult for anybody. So it's up to you to find the beauty within yourself.
yeah.
And sometimes that's narcissism in a way, but it's also about finding your self confidence because you've
Hmm.
been beaten down and broken down and told you were
Yeah,
worthless or nothing.
yeah,
And it's to a point where you actually start to believe
yeah,
these things.
yeah.
But you have someone in your corner telling you, hey, you are amazing,
Right.
encouraging you along the way. So trust me, I've had issues like that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers. What has been some of the responses from the viewers about this masterpiece? I'm not even going to call it a film as a masterpiece because it speaks to a lot of people who deal with this on a daily, as far as dating, as far as coming from a traumatic
Yeah,
relationship, past tense. So, what has been some of the responses from people about this film?
yeah. And again, thank you for your kind words. The majority of the responses we've gotten really has been the ending where, and what I really wanted, where the twist came in, because what it did is it made people kind of look at themselves a little bit, right? Because we see ourselves in one light, and like I said, if you got something on your face right now, you can't see it. You need a mirror. People are mirrors. So somebody got to say, hey, you got a little something right there. That's your mirror, right? And so what I wanted to show in that, and what a lot of people been talking about, it was like, actually after the movie premiere, and it was so great. It was more women that came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I need to look at myself. I need to see if there's something going on with me like that." So that's most of the response we got. And from a creative standpoint, they just really love that it was a plot twist that they didn't see coming. People like to get
Oh,
got.
yeah.
They like, whether we admit it or not, they like to be surprised. So a lot of people were just surprised, and yeah, that's been the most of the responses that we've gotten.
And then
From it.
Keisha,
Amazing.
Erica in the film, when y'all two met in the coffee shop, she gave that evil smile. When you see a woman give that smile, that evil smile, you know she up to no good.
Yeah.
So y'all have to check out the plot twist at the end.
Yes.
And she proceeded to sip her coffee as you two got introduced to it. But you guys have to check it out.
Yes.
These are things that people actually go through as far as love, as far as relationship,
Mhm.
as far as finding out your self discovery, which is not all it seems to be.
Yeah.
Now, I work in the road fashion. I'm going to use this as an example.
Okay.
Everything is glamorous, everything is beautiful. You flip through Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and you see the pretty models wearing the nice clothing and
Yeah.
things. But when they strip all of that down, we don't know how those models are feeling at the end of the day.
Facts.
As far as going home to their family, as far as going home to their relationship, this is
Wow.
real life.
Wow.
So people go through these real life
Yeah.
experiences. And sitting back, I can relate so much to Erica's character because I am vulnerable in moments. It's just like, am I good enough to be loved?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of women and men feel the same
100%.
way.
Yeah.
Like, what is it about
Yeah.
me? Why
Yeah.
me? You're getting a relationship with this person. This person is interested in you, and you're just like, because one thing I've noticed about Nikisha's character, Erica, in the film,
Yeah.
is that she kind of beat down on herself. It's just like the guy was trying to get her to see, like, you're amazing,
Yep.
you're good,
Yep.
just as you
Yep.
are.
Mm-hmm.
But she kept pointing out the negative about
Yeah.
herself and beating herself down.
Yeah.
So that happens with a lot of people. So, what are some tips and advice that you would give to people who are struggling with that as far as a relationship, as far as trying to have an open mind or a clear head?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank you for pointing that out. We all deal with it, and men, I think men deal with it a lot more because we're taught not to show our emotions, right? So we take everything that we're feeling and we compress it and we hold it down. That's why we're more likely to commit suicide. Most men are gonna die quicker than women because we don't let that stuff out. So my tips would be is what I'm learning to do with myself right now is to first of all find that love for self, right? And it takes time. What I had to do for myself is find one thing. What's one thing that I like about myself?
Mm,
Let's take that one thing. If there's just one, the smallest thing it can be is I like the way I laugh. I think I got a silly laugh. When I laugh, it makes myself laugh. If you could take that one thing and just hold on to that, watch what'll happen. You'll build upon more things. And here's the most beautiful part that I'm learning about it. You're not looking on the outside for validation anymore. So a lot of times we get in relationships because we want to be validated. We don't feel good enough. You're giving me attention. You want to be with me, and we're pulling for validation. But if you can find some things that you love about yourself, when people come into our lives now, they are an
mm,
add-on to the love that we already have. So now you don't use people for love. You don't have to go outside yourself looking for it. And it makes the relationship so much better. Because what I found in some of the toxic relationships I've been in my life is I was pulling on them and they were pulling on me to be something that neither one of us were created to be. You can only find that love for self. So, viewers, anybody, what I'm doing for myself as well, one thing, one thing, and build upon that and watch how that self love grows. And you won't look for it on the outside anymore. And when it comes, it'll be natural. It'll just be two people who have learned how to heal and be whole and joining their wholeness together. That's it. That's the way it's supposed to be. We just, in our society, we think of it as somebody's going to come in and make you complete. It's not the way it works. You're already complete. You're just looking for somebody to do completeness and wholeness with.
absolutely. And I think that is one thing that I've made during past dating and dating in relationships as well too, is looking
Mhm.
for somebody to
Yeah.
complete me. But it's just like, let love come to you. And I think a lot of people, we make that mistake of rushing, as you said, with Erica's character. And that's one thing she did
Yep.
in the film. Is she sort of jumped into this relationship with Emmanuel's character. Didn't
Quick.
know a whole lot about him, but it's just like, what is it about him? He's sexy, he's
Yeah.
mysterious, he's all of these things. But then the scene where they go home from the party is
Yeah.
when she truly got to see who he
Yep.
is. It's like at first is love at first sight,
Mm-hmm.
but then as you gradually grow in the relationship together, you really get to know more about the
Yep.
person. And they say when you learn a lot about a person when you live with them,
True. That's very,
or
very
you're
true.
staying with them, or you invite them over, and it's just you two in that moment.
Yep.
Is you and that person, you're both conversing. But she found out about Emmanuel's character in the film just from going home from the party and how he had a jealous
Yep.
streak. So I mean, you learn a lot more about a person. Take the time to really sit down and involve and engage in a conversation with someone. And I
Absolutely.
think that's a mistake that I made. And I'm a Scorpio. I love intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very sexual, I'm a very sexual, mysterious woman, and I own my sensuality.
Okay.
But I also want something tangible. I want something with someone that I can spend the rest of my life with.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine and dandy too, but I want to be loved. I want to be
Yeah.
held. As a woman, I showcase my vulnerability. I come to you naked, not naked like that, but negative, naked as in vulnerable, stripped with everything,
Right.
every part of me. And I think a lot of women, we do that. We come to the table letting you know, like, hey, this is what it is,
Yeah.
as well as for any man. They come to the table letting you know this is what it is, this is what I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
So let love come to you. It can come to you and hit you in the most unexpected
Say that.
places.
Say
And then the
that.
next thing you know, you two are walking down the aisle.
There you go.
So see,
There you go. You said a mouthful.
yes, and I believe it. I believe that you can find love. I believe that everybody
Yeah,
deserves someone special.
absolutely.
And it just happens. My mother said, she always would tell me this. She said, it's in God's
Yep.
timing. You've heard our parents tell us that it's in
Yep.
God's timing. And
Yep.
God's timing, you will find your Prince Charming or your
Yep.
queen. Trust it will happen. And I believe mine's is coming. Because I see all of
Absolutely.
my friends, they're in relationships, they have kids and everything. And I have a fur baby. I don't have no kids. I don't have a ring on the finger, nothing. But they were trying to rub the baby fever all over me to Morris, and I'm just like, nope, not yet. I'm perfectly fine with being Auntie Stevie and my
There
fur
you go.
baby. I'm good on
There
that.
you go.
But I want my husband. I want my Prince Charming. I want all of that to come in due time. But I'm not
Hmm.
gonna rush it. I'm gonna let love
Good
come
for
to
you.
me. So that's one thing I also took away from this project, this
Hmm.
masterpiece.
Thank you once again.
Yes, yes, yes.
You.
And that was going to be my next question for you. What is one thing that totally blows your mind as far as love, as far as being open to love, as far as relationships? What's one thing that is totally blowing your mind
From a relationship or just in general, like
in general? Yeah.
um so when they say what is love, we say what is love? People say God is love, right?
Yeah.
God is love, right? Can you completely explain God?
Mm,
No.
mm,
Nobody can completely explain God. If you think you know, you're very, very arrogant. So if God is love and God can't completely be explained, how can you completely explain love? So this is why sometimes when we fall for people, I put it like this: if you can tell somebody a list of things of why you love this person, you may not be in love. You may be in infatuation. You may be in a partnership in which somebody's giving you the things that you desire, but love can't be explained. If God is love and you can't explain God, you can't
yeah.
explain love. So that's why sometimes people fall in love and have no idea what it is. I did not see this coming. I did not. There are people who've gotten married who never thought they would have married that person, but they found out what love really is. So that's what blows my mind about love is it goes back to what we said earlier. It's unexplainable. It's not a list of things that somebody checks off for you. It is something that can't, if you and that person come together and you I don't I don't know why. There's just something I can't explain it. There is, and the great thing about that is, how do you fall out of that? It's hard to fall out of that. It's easy to fall out of partnership because you say you're not doing what I signed up for you to do anymore. I I liked when you did this for me, this for me, this for me. You don't do those things no
Mm,
more. I no longer love you. It's not love, it's partnership. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of married people who are in great partnerships. But if you're looking for love, and what I'm learning to understand is that is God. God brings that, whatever you want to call God. I'm
sweet.
not talking about the religious thing, but whatever you want to call it, that'll come to you in your life. And a lot of times you won't be able to explain it. That's what blows my mind about real love. We've forgotten what that is because we're a society that's just so hooked on you doing it the way I want you to do it. I want to make sure everybody sees me as a great person. My relationship is this. Great things to have, but if you're talking about real love, it's that part that neither one of you can explain, that y'all are just drawn. You're drawn, and that's not easily broken at all.
And sometimes we can be blinded by love. Like you said, we don't see the first thing, the first date.
Mhm.
But it's like you go with a person, you get to know more about them.
Yeah,
But we can be sometimes so deeply caught up in love with this person. It's just like you don't see what the other person is saying about this person and how bad they are. I've had an encounter with
yeah,
them. So you never know from personal experience. So it's important to take the time to actually sit down and how we're doing now, have a
yeah,
conversation with the
absolutely.
person. And we're now in a day and age where everything is quick. We're quick to play catch up.
Facts.
It's instant in an instant.
Yep,
So take time, unplug, talk with that person intimately, and
absolutely.
build that bond, that soul connection. And that's what's key and crucial to having a great, long standing relationship. And we see the relationships like the Michelle and the Barack and the J and the B, the ideal relationships that we want to see as we're watching these power couples on television or in magazines, wherever. We want that. But they have their ups and downs too. And I think
100%.
Michelle Obama, she said that in an interview. Yeah, we have our disagreements. He gets on my nerves. And she was just funny about it. But it's important that we have these
Yeah,
discussions so that we can move further to the next level. And in any relationship, you're going to have your disagreements,
of
but
course.
at the end of the day, you sit and you have your conversation and work those pieces out, bits and pieces. And you're not, again, sympathy for the narcissist is not just for that one person. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you are in a relationship with them as well too. It's you. It's a union
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
It's a soul connection.
yeah.
So talking to that person, letting them know how you feel, and them letting them know
Right.
how you feel, and then them letting you know how they
Yeah,
feel,
yeah.
vice versa. It's just like playing tennis back and
Yep,
forth. So have that healthy conversation. It can be scary sometimes. You're
yep.
just like, oh my God, my marriage is going to fail. No. Sometimes you make it work. You fight to make it work. If you really, really passionately, genuinely care about this person,
Yeah,
make it work.
absolutely.
So,
Beautifully said.
yes. On a lighter note, fashion dolls, Miss Stevie's about to get put in the hot seat, and I do this with all of my guests. So, for my newest viewers out there, you get to know a little bit about me through Tamoris's question. We are going to do something called Turn the Tables, and this is where my guests get to ask me questions, as many as they want to, on fashion, on life, on passions, goals, relationships, whatever they want to know. For the viewers, they'll get to know it. For my new viewers, you get to know a little bit about me. So, I'm going to pass, like DJ Cassidy says, the mic on to Morris here. Take it away.
Oh, I'm about to get you. I'm about to. Oh, the questions. I already wrote some down here. Let me get one. Just messing with you. Well, I'll say this. What inspired you really to start doing something like this, um, and to do it 5 days a week and to not let up on it? What is your drive? Because a lot of people struggle with they know what they want to do. They know what their talent is. They have a passion for it, but sometimes they lack the motivation to do it. So what keeps you going 5 days a week, no sick days, no days off? What's your drive?
Well, I do take days off, but no sick days
Okay.
altogether, and I do this 5 days a week. But I would have to say God. Through God, God is my. We talk about finding our soulmates and our significant others. God is married to each and every one of us permanently.
Mm-hmm.
He is the husband. He is the wife. He is all of that. He is the provider. He is the giver. He's all of that. God is my strength and my resource. There are days when I do not want to get up to Morris and
Mm-hmm.
do this platform, but I said, but God. And
Okay.
I pray and I have a conversation with him every single morning, as just as I did before we came on and did our
Mm-hmm.
interview. I had a conversation with him.
Right.
And I said the prayer of the warriors. I take the shield of faith
Mm-hmm.
every day. So that's what keeps me so resilient and hosting this platform and going. God, and most importantly, my mother.
Wow.
My mother encourages me, and she'll tell me, because our mothers will always tell us stuff like, "Is if you need to take a break, you take a break.
Yeah.
You do this. You overwhelming yourself." But me, I'm 31 years old. I'm like, I got fire inside of me. I've got so much energy and life.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think, again, I picked that up from her, where she's outgoing, where she's persistent. She doesn't like anything to defeat her.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
give credit to my mother and God for allowing me to keep going and do this platform every single day. And it's my happy place. It brings me joy being able to talk to people, being able to communicate with my viewers every single day that come in faithfully to watch the
Mm-hmm.
conversation and engage. So I love it. It's like therapy for me.
There we
It's
go.
so therapeutic. Yeah.
There we go. What would you say? Because everybody has a little different opinion on what fashion is, right? So, to those out there who may struggle with identity, right? To people out there who may struggle with um, who they are, what they look like, where they come from, they're insecure about those things. Can you kind of tie the fashion world with that a little bit and kind of talk about how important it is? Because I've gone to media. I don't really do fashion, but I love fashion. I'm going to fashion shows, and I just see the uniqueness and what people do. That's them on their runway, right? Showcasing how they would design it, how they would do it. So, what
Yes.
can you tell people about just owning who they are, and what's a good way they can do that for people who are very insecure right now?
I would say do it confidently, do it boldly. And confidence for anybody out there, it's going to take you some time to build it up. Like me, I wasn't always this outspoken. I was bullied a lot
Mm,
in all the way up to grade school.
mm,
And so I had to find my own voice. Find your own voice, find your own light, and come into that.
mm,
And it was just like when I came from middle school to high school was sort of me branching out into my own, coming and developing into my own as a woman, finding my own self.
mhm.
And I must say to anybody out there who's struggling with that, was struggling with confidence and coming into their own or just developing their own individuality, be unique, be authentically you, and express yourself in as many ways as you can. As you guys can tell, I love color. I love color. I love explosions of color. I'm always playing with different patterns. So
Mm,
find what works for you.
mm.
What might work for you might not work for the next person.
Right.
But I tell people this all the time because I took cosmetology when I was in high school and I got my license on register.
Nice.
But it was certain hair colors that I would not wear. And I use that as an example to say this, that stepping out of your comfort zone can be a beautiful thing, which is why I asked that question, do you fear change?
Mhm.
Because most of us, we fear change. We fear things outside of the
Right.
norm. But it's easy for me. One of my viewers called me a chameleon because I'm always changing. I don't like to stay the same. I
Mhm.
don't. I don't. It's fun.
Mhm.
Live, laugh. Life is too
Yeah.
short. We just lost Dwayne Wiggins from the group Tony.
Mm.
He passed away. We lost Roy Ayers. We lost Angie
Yeah.
Stone, who I was supposed to be interviewing, and I've become good friends with her publicist, Deborah
Wow.
Champagne, my girl. Shout outs to her. Uh, we're losing so many
Yeah.
people. Life is too short. So live and embrace your style in the moment. Embrace your authenticity and what makes you unique. And as a going back, I'm going to keep quoting your film,
Thank you.
Sympathy for the Narcissist. Uh, you're looking in that mirror. You're having that conversation with yourself. You're picking out all of the things like, what do I need to work on? Not your appearance, not your
Mhm.
aesthetic, like your nose or your lips, none of
Yeah.
that. But I'm saying, what do I need to work on today? Is it my confidence?
Mm,
Is it my intelligence? Do I need to go to
mm.
school? Do I need to educate myself? All of these things. When you're sitting there in that mirror and you're having that conversation with yourself, that is confidence as well too. Because you got to be an adult to be able to have the hard-hitting conversations
Right.
with yourself. It's called self-accountability. So in order to have confidence, you have to have self-accountability. You have to be able to uh, change a few things about yourself. Maybe my
Mhm.
delivery could have been different in this. Maybe my
Mhm.
delivery could have been different with that. And we reevaluate things. Not change your appearance, your aesthetic, your nose,
Right.
lips, and eyes. Don't do that. You're beautiful the way you are.
Absolutely.
But as we're talking about the inside, the heart, your mind, your body, your soul,
Yeah.
all of these things tie together, and that helps build confidence. So I want anybody out there struggling with that to know that confidence is a process. You take it to build
Yeah.
up. Like I didn't when I first started, it was one hair color that I was specifically wear, and it was that 613 damn blonde mohawk. Shout outs to my hairstylist and my bestie Ronnie, who did it every single time. And a girlfriend of mine, shout outs to Rage, she said, girl, you got to change your hair up. You got to change your look up. You need to change and do something different because I only wanted to wear one specific hair color. Give us red, give us black, give us green, give us all
Mhm.
of that. So that's why they called me the chameleon because I'm always changing. I don't like to stay the same.
I love it.
And change is beautiful to anybody. So anybody who's fearing it,
Mhm.
just in life, going through a life situation that can be scary, that might seem like a tough time for you or a dark period, trust me, you're going to get through it. Change is beautiful. There's always a bright light shining at the end of that tunnel.
Nice.
So my answer's a little long-winded, but it ties into confidence. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
I had another question, but I really feel that it needs to stop with that because that hit hard. That hit hard. That
Con-
and that we talked about that 3 times during this conversation. Change. So maybe that's something that not only myself but the viewers need to really be sucking in right now. That change is beautiful. Yeah.
and it's unique. It's
Yeah.
unique. It's your own individual self because why it's a quote that goes like this from Audrey Hepburn, and I think is why I'm in make the impossible possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I live by that mantra.
Right.
And I tell people that all the time. You are uniquely, divinely you. God made you for a reason,
Mhm.
and He has given you a purpose. So please save this live for others to see. I sure will, girl. I sure will, Queen. And I sure will. I always have them uploaded on my page here, and you guys can check it out on my YouTube as well too. So head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime.
Yep.
We have these conversations all the time where we talk about inner beauty, confidence, being bold, stepping into your own. Being bold is not just taking risks with fashion, but also taking career life-changing choices as
Mm-hmm.
well too.
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you an example. Um, I watch TED Talks. I
Yep.
don't know if you watch it, Tamoris, where we
All the
see
time.
people
Yeah.
doing the pitch and stuff. And there was one gentleman on there, and he did a business pitch. And at first, they was like, "No, you're not what we're looking for." He went back a second time, and he got his business off the ground.
Mm.
So it's all about taking that leap of faith, stepping outside of your comfort zone and outside of your norm. Change can be scary,
Yeah.
but the inevitable is beautiful. So
Mm.
I love a
Mm-hmm.
challenge. I'm a Scorpio. I live by challenges. When somebody tells me no, I'm like, okay, I got you. I got your little right back, and I got you. I'm gonna do so good. But
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah.
been like that, and I think I get it from my mother.
Yeah.
I get it from my mother. I give her so much credit for it. That feistiness, that fiery
Yeah.
spirit, that being able to step outside of your norms. She would get me, dress me up any kind of way when I was going to school, and I was like, no, I don't want to wear this. I just want to wear blue jeans, and
Yeah.
that's that.
Yeah.
But she's like, try khaki, try this. So take little step by step, and that's how you build your confidence.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's that's great. That is beautiful. That hit me.
And I hope you all take something away from that, because I know even though we're all adults here, we all struggle with
Oh yeah.
confidence in some sort of way.
Oh
We're
yeah.
not we're not sure of ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And I can even go back to school. When you're taking a test, you're not sure if this is the correct answer. Go
Right.
with your gut intuition. Your gut intuition won't lead you wrong.
Absolutely.
So take
Facts.
heart into that. Tap into it.
Facts. Facts.
So before we wrap, are any other questions you have, tomorrow? As many as you want.
I'm like
He's
the preacher.
speechless.
The preacher that stands up and he says, you got to know when to let it be. Like I got a lot of stuff I had, but I don't know. It's just something about staying there, just letting that be, letting that ring out. That I really feel like listening to my intuition. Like that's it, because that hit me. And it's just to kind of piggyback on what you said, which was beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of that. That's amazing. Um,
Anytime.
Man, it's taking those steps to just be bold and to be curious about what might happen. It's almost like Christmas. When you're a kid, it would be boring to get up to have the presents under the tree and they're not wrapped up and you can see what's about to come. So when Christmas morning, wake up, the surprise is gone. You already know what you got. So I think change is often like that. Like God has so much stuff open and it's wrapped up. We can't see it, but if we're afraid to go to Christmas Day and open it up, then you miss all the beauty. So yeah, um, I just get out to everybody too. Just be excited about change. Be excited about what life, because you have no idea. If it's all our way, life would be boring. We have no idea what's on the other side of fear.
This truly spoke to me. Thank you both, new subscriber. Thank you, Queen.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. And I know a lot of people deal with this on a regular,
Yeah,
confidence and
yeah,
being not so sure of
yeah,
yourself. And not just that, but feeling unworthy. You are worthy. You are worth it. And
mhm,
that is another affirmation I say to myself in the mornings.
yeah.
You are worth
I
it.
love that.
So keep saying those affirmations to yourself in the mirror, and keep empowering yourself through all of the craziness. Find your joy in your sanity. My joy in my sanity is hosting this platform, talking to people, letting it
Mhm,
out, and not knowing that I'm
mhm,
alone, not
mhm.
alone, and that people feel the same exact way that I feel. It can be a viewer,
I love it.
like Queen just said in the comments. This truly spoke to her, and I want to be able to speak and touch people in the world. Like, you're
Yeah,
not alone. There are people who struggle with confidence, who
yeah,
are not so sure of themselves, who have went out another example is for a career position, and took that leap of faith. And it's just like it didn't work out the first time, but then when they went in the second time and did it, it was a success.
Mm,
So can't doubt yourself, and that's
mm,
another thing we have to work on as well too, is doubting
yeah.
ourselves. I started this my 19th current season here back in January 1st, 2025. And I was like, people are going to get sick of seeing me go live with people every single day. But when I
Wow.
came back, it was a completely different response. It was like, you know how you're away from family, you take a break away from family, you're going back, and then you come back down and you pop up by surprise.
Yep.
That's the same reaction I got. It's like my viewers are like my family here.
Yeah.
So I'm so thankful to have them support
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
So
Wow. We went to church, huh?
this has been an a dynamic journey. So we are now at the closing of our conversation. But to Morris, and I keep referring back to your project because it talks about reflection. It talks about finding the you inside
Yeah.
you. And it sometimes is not being appeared to be
Yeah.
what it appears to be sometimes.
Absolutely.
But what are some gems that you would give to people on tapping into themselves and looking into that mirror and reevaluating? Because sometimes we have to reevaluate
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Just piggybacking off of what you said, for the most part, sometimes the things we tell ourselves are lies. And I'm not talking about the things we say, oh, I'm amazing, I'm all of this, because those things are true. But sometimes
Mhm.
we say we're not good enough, and that's a lie. Sometimes we say, well, nobody's gonna watch it if I put it out. That's a lie. Everybody thinks I'm ugly. That's a lie. Like, there's so many lies that we tell ourselves. So I would just say, don't listen to everything you tell yourself. All that's the stuff that the brain tries to throw in there to you. That's a lot of conditions and stuff of the world. You don't know what you can do until the evidence is going to be you actually going out there and doing it. That's the evidence. So don't listen to everything that your mind is telling you, because a lot of times your mind is just afraid. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, I'm not about to let you slide out of here with finding out the question that I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers
Uh-oh.
want to know about this project
Okay.
here. Could we expect a sequel?
You know, it's possible. It's definitely possible. When you guys watch it, you see it ends so that you can see a sequel. It may be a little bit more of Erica's origin story, of Jacob's origin story. Um, so we'll see. There's a couple other projects that I have lined up right now, so it wouldn't be anytime soon, but we'll see. If we get enough response, if we get the financial backing that we need, I would love to take y'all on another roller coaster with that one. Love to. Yeah.
I'm curious to know because, like I said, Erica gave that when you see a woman give that
Yeah.
smile, like when you see her give that evil smile, you know she's up to
Yeah.
something. So I'm curious to know where what Erica's character is up to because you two met at the. You guys have to check it out. I can't
Yeah.
give the whole film away.
Yeah. Yeah.
The film is titled "Sympathy for a Narcissist," and it is everywhere on Amazon and
Yeah.
Tubi. Please go and check this masterpiece out. Support this brother here. Support Black filmmakers and directors, and help him out so that we can get this sequel because I want a sequel. No, it can't just it can't just end like that with her giving that smile. She's up to something.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean it was all too
Oh
real. But
yeah.
final thought, and it ties into everything we discussed today, which is about reflection and stepping outside of your norm, outside of your comfort zone. Don't be discouraged. It's often the last key in the bunch that opens the lock. And this is about fear
Mm,
and stepping out on fear. So don't get
yeah.
discouraged. Sometimes looking at your reflection can be scary because it's just like, oh man, I didn't know this about myself. I didn't know this
Yeah.
about myself.
Yeah.
And you start to evaluate things that you need to change. So again, don't get discouraged. Fear, yes, is there,
Yeah.
but there's nothing to be fearful about if you just reevaluate,
Mhm.
evolve, and change. And again, as I said, when Tamoris asked me that question, change is beautiful. And it can be scary for a lot of us, but do not get discouraged. Step outside of your
Absolutely.
norm and outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
And definitely continue to soar,
Absolutely.
fly. You will see the results. It's so worth it.
Facts. Facts.
So, where can everyone follow you and check out to see what else you have coming up? The film is out again, Sympathy for the Narcissist. But where can everyone follow you and check you out and support you?
Yeah, TLS27 right here on Instagram. Tamaris Ellis on Facebook. Not a lot of Tamarises out here, so I'm not a hard person to find. Just type in Tamaris, it's gonna pop up somewhere. My YouTube channel is Vision Now. You type in Vision Now, you'll see some of the short films that I've done as well. A lot of different things on there. We have a show called Skit that's on YouTube as well. That's comedy. So yeah, TLS27 Instagram, Tamaris Ellis Facebook, and Vision Now on YouTube.
All right, Fashion Dolls, there you have it. Joining me Monday, we have another filmmaker, Martin Manuel Nuza joins me. And that lineup should be up right now so you guys can see it. And make sure you go, and I'm going to quote Coco from SWV's son, J. Michael, and vote for your O2. What did J. Michael say? OOTD. The OOTD of this week, I will have those outfits and looks posted. It was 4 different looks. Make sure you guys go and vote for your favorite look of the week. And we will see you guys next week, Monday, on Style by Stevie. Take care, everyone, and y'all have a fabulous Friday. Be safe, be amazing, be great, and most importantly, change again is beautiful.
Yes.
So don't fear it. Take care, everyone. And
Butterfly.
nice meeting you, and have a great
Thank
time.
you, and thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Take care.